is conservative.
If you're looking for something liberal
and realistic, this is the place to be.
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to another segment of our podcast. I am your host today, Makosi Nkiwane. Mningina to all. With us today is my big brother and my guru, the Katonhas. They are here today to discuss part two of, well, it's not really part two. This would be part 4 for us, and part 2 for you guys. Discussing lobola and Roora. Welcome, guys. Thank you. Now, we want to carry on from the conversation you guys had with Ronald in the previous episode. There's a few things that I would like to delve into just to wind that conversation up before I start bombing you, because I'm free because you're my siblings. I can ask you the difficult questions. Right. Towards the end of the episode, you guys spoke about how he would have to come and visit you at home. And I know we then spoke and you said, no, you would even refuse to dish for him. So you set a pedestal. He wasn't getting husband benefits on a boyfriend tender. How do you manage that? Because I'm sure a lot of your friends around you were giving a lot of husband benefits on a boyfriend tender. And likewise, how did you not get to a point where you're expecting things that you're not supposed to be getting?
Okay, so I go first.
Go.
So naturally, I have a very close circle of friends. Like, I've got very few friends. Yeah. And the good thing with my friends is that, we can be outspoken and we say, if I'm not doing this, I'm not doing it. Yeah. If you want to do it, I can be there for you as my friend, but it doesn't mean that you can then force me to then saying, no, because I'm doing it, let's do it together, kind of thing. So I guess I'm grateful to have friends who allow you to be independent and to be true to your personal principles as a person, to say, okay, if that's what you want to do, we'll support you. Yeah, so that was me. And the strict background also then didn't allow me to have these wild expectations, because, you are there and literally everything that you're doing, you're being monitored. Yeah. So you don't have space. You don't have space to be then doing these things and you're just rolling with it. And for me also, it was a thing to say, you're in my territory. So let's see how much you're willing to do this thing, the grilling. I used to enjoy those. To say, I want to see how long it's going to spend that. So for me, it was also a test of time. Yeah.
Put us.
So for me, it was a very different thing going on. So our first about 3.5 years of being together. Yeah. So it started from friendship and escalated into something more meaningful. So at that point now, I then got a job here in Harare. Actually, no, then it was Gweru. So I actually had to leave in our 3rd year to come to Harare. So that was the most difficult time of our relationship in my mind. Not between the two of us, but just in my mind, because now you are in this corporate setup where you have these so different guys who don't even go to church. Yeah. Not even mentioning Adventism, but just church. Yeah. And these are guys who on a Thursday up to like a Sunday, they're out there having fun. Yeah. And they have so many stories of, oh my God, that chick, that's what I saw,
And very difficult.
Yeah. and in your mind, you're like, I think this is time. Yeah. I should try this. So every Friday of my employment, from the time I left Bulawayo, every Friday I would be in Bulawayo to see my girlfriend and my parents, right? But, it was for her. So every Friday I'll travel to Bulawayo to see her. And I think in our 5th year, that's when I started trying to say, the long hugs and, the pack on the cheek, on the forehead, and the intention was to go to the mouth.
Yeah.
And it was not easy.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it kind of gave me consolation to say, so if I'm the guy and I can't do this, in my absence,
yes,
no one will be able to.
Yeah.
It's
comforting.
Yeah. So it gave me some comfort. So yeah, that was the whole journey, and the fact that I would see her at her parents' place. Sometimes when I'm at my house and I don't feel like going out, I'll actually just ask her to come over, and she'll come to my parents' house and they'll be at home. And that was our inconvenience, I'd say, because I'm sure if we had another setting, things would have been different. So I actually owe this to the setups that we had and when we grew this relationship.
Yeah, I also wanted to say, so I was now at Poly then at that time, and would come and pick me up from college. And so Poly wasn't too far from home, but actually they'd have that long walk home, because literally that was the only time that you're getting without, the adults watching. And I mean, it's a road. What can you do on the road? So we'll just take these long strolls, to go home. And then my brother, guys, you don't understand.
You said her brother was an elder.
Yeah.
So.
But besides that, he wasn't too churchy. He was just okay. My brother and I. My brother and I were very close. Yeah. So to him, I'd always been this baby sister. I used to say he would watch anything that's coming. So he was very protective.
Okay.
Elder duties aside, he was just overprotective. To a point where even if we'll take these long walks home, he'll call and say, yeah, I know that your timetable at school ends at this time. What time are you getting home? So even if you're doing that walk, you're cognizant at the back of your mind to say, I need to be at home at 4.
So I'm a very visual person. So I'm trying to piece together. You guys say you live 10 kilometers apart. What part of Laos were you living in?
I used to stay in Bradfield.
And you were?
In Brentside.
Yeah, that's a long walk, eh?
No.
Yeah. From Poly to Bradfield.
That
was
short.
And then you get on a combi
to go home.
And then go home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, talk about dedication.
Yeah. I think I was. And I think that's how I scored the chick.
Yeah.
Because no one can do that.
Okay.
I promise.
All right, so you guys have been dating for 7 years, and you eventually I don't know which one of you made the decision to say, right, now we're going to take the next step forward. How easy or difficult was it getting to the point, what challenges did you face leading up to that?
Okay, so me being in Harare, and now I left Peru, I was now in Harare, and I would have these colleagues and these other people I would meet on the job. Yeah, really lovely ladies. And, it kind of felt like if I actually took my guard down, I was going to go in another direction.
You were going to have a work wife?
Yeah. No, not quite. She wouldn't be in the seat today. I'll be having someone else here.
All right.
So, and then also, you've got that thing that, she's mine and all.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're absent, the other guys who will actually be pursuing her, and it's not like she's yours alone. She can also make a decision to say, okay, I think this guy has more than this guy has. Yeah. And I think I should take Makosi over Kuda, And at some point, I'll actually figure it out. Okay, so Ron is actually after my chick, and, and I'll study Ron. Yeah. Okay, so Ron is actually way better than me, right? Yeah. So what I'll just do is I'll just mark my territory, make my presence more felt, But I actually felt it wasn't sustainable because the 7 years was not easy for me. Yeah. And having to start another relationship with someone was going to be a waste of time for them because I'll still be thinking about this girl.
In the 7 years that you spent.
Yeah?
The love and yes.
Yes. So what happened with me is one night sleeping in my one room, and I just thought, you know what? I can't be contending with these guys because they are much closer to her than I am.
Yeah.
In the morning, I woke up and I called her and said, Kadi, auntie bako vele banga? Where are your aunts? You know, and they said, no, my aunts are in Zambia. I've got an uncle also in Zambia and so forth. And I was like, so who can act as your aunt here? And well, she said she was going to consult. And then she came back and said, no, my sister. She has a way older sister.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. Tell your sister I want to marry. And this was just out of the blue. We never discussed this.
Just a phone call.
Yeah,
You
and
didn't-
she always blames me for not being that romantic.
Yeah.
I never went on my knees and said, will you marry me? You know, I never did that.
That's what I was about to ask you. Didn't take her.
No.
You didn't take her to Chipangali.
No.
No, it
I
didn't.
felt like I was about to lose her.
Yeah.
So I made a conscious decision that I followed through to say, this one, I'm bagging her, she's mine, and I'm going for the kill. So I asked her, speak to your sister. She did just that, and the talk started.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on your end, was that an easy transition?
Not really, because okay, so all I say is I fantasize a lot. I think I just love nice things, just like any other girl or any other woman. You want your guy to like go all out, man, yeah, and do the things. That's
No, but I did something,
Yeah.
and she missed it.
Okay. What did you do? Yeah.
So I was working late this 1 week, and I actually like finished work like at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Friday. Went to Total, Samora,
Yeah.
filled up my tank.
Yeah.
Bulawayo.
Okay.
Got there around I think 11, 12 midnight.
Yeah.
Not colder.
Okay.
I'm not in Bulawayo. Let's go to, what is it? No, Antelope Park.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Back
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I went home.
what I wanted to do that weekend.
Exactly, yeah. So I went home,
Yeah.
slept, early in the morning, came, picked her up, Antelope Park.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Spent our
and my
supper
brother
there.
wasn't. They had gone to South Africa, so
Visa.
Yeah. So njoy mumskanzi wayinoyitika
Yeah.
but yedu yanga yanajesu mkati. Yeah.
Where did the visa make?
Immigration baba. Picked her up, Antelope Park. We spent the whole day there.
All right.
Yeah.
then at 5, my brother's friend, Mr. Chira.
Oh yeah,
called and
yeah.
said,
Hey.
I've come home to look for you because I mean my brother.
She had
there.
bodyguards.
Yeah, literally. He says,
Mm.
you're not at home. Where are you? Like, no, I'm on my way back. I'm coming from church.
Yeah.
Worshipping in
Chipang, in Antelope Park.
Yes.
Right. So we then
We made it on time.
we then came back. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my way of saying, you know what? For what's gonna come, this is my way of showing you my kind of commitment.
Okay.
Yeah, because I drove through the night, and now we are on another excursion, and we're back. And tomorrow, I need to drive back to work.
Yeah.
You know, so I literally gave it my all for that weekend. I just didn't go on my knees. But I mean, if you've been to Antelope Park, you'll understand.
Years back, yeah.
Years back, did you help him with fuel?
No? Why would I do that?
Sticking to making it difficult.
I did everything on my own
Yeah.
for 4 years. Almost every Friday I was in Bulawayo. Every Friday. And I'd never carry a passenger. I'd just drive all the way to Bulawayo, all the way back, just for this girl.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're in the lobolaring phase, right? And I've gotten the impression that both of you were known by each other's families, not necessarily the way that you're known now, but you're known. And you know, did they give you? They tell you in advance. They give you a list and say, we want A, B, C, D, we want X amount. Did she negotiate for you?
She was supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happened was, I'm like, okay, so your sister, I asked Jade, how much are they expecting?
Yes.
You know, just a rough figure. She gave me this figure.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can work with this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Run around, got the money with a bit of excess, and now I'm waiting for the date.
And the long grocery list.
Oh, yeah, and the crazy grocery list, eh? Yeah. So I was waiting for the date. The date never came. So sometime in August, is it just before or just after meeting? I decided, these guys are taking me for a ride.
Yeah.
Went to Messina, bought a car, came back, and you know,
Not her car.
no,
Okay.
myself. So
Right.
just when I got back,
Yeah.
2 weeks later, the date comes, and I have no money. So what's remaining of what I had was just the excess and not the main amount, because I just bought a car, and I thought what to do. Like, no, I can't look like Anjanagoro Ngeka.
Yeah.
Went back, did a few hustles, got some money. I was like, no, I can make the date. Bought my groceries, got my uncles. We went. We get there. Okungena ketini, isivulamlomo was almost a third of what I had.
Sure.
I'm like, but this chick,
She gave me a number. The number is not.
they're not adding up.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I think inside, no, what?
Yeah.
We'll talk. We get in there, the figures have gone like, I think triple or 4 times.
Sure.
So yeah, we see through the process, and now I'm looking stupid, and you know.
And you're angry.
Yeah, and I was very angry. So after we then told them, no, we'll come back, you know, like good mkwashas and all. And I left that grocery that I come with. I'm like, why am I even leaving it? You know? But then it had to happen because we told them we had the grocery, so we left. Never spoke to her that day. Actually, just got into my car, went, dropped my uncles,
I drove back to
drove back to
Harare.
Harare. Yeah. So didn't even want to talk to her for that week until she called and said, Kari, how far? You know, I'm like, no, don't ask me how far.
Yeah.
Because when we discussed these figures,
Right? You had one figure.
you made me look like I was this guy, and I got my monies together, you know, and I thought I was just going to conclude this thing.
Yeah.
And it never happened. And now I really look stupid at your side of the family that, or you guys thought I was a son to this rich guy or something. I was really, really mad at her. And maybe her family too. But
why are you mad at me?
So how did you de-escalate that?
We didn't actually. Time did.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was still mad. And I was supposed to go back in December. You know, this was 2015. Yeah. So what I then did was like, no, this is always that's a guy.
I did a theme song by then.
What was that?
Why you gotta be so rude?
Oh yeah. So I play that song a lot. When I think about it, I'm like, oh, these guys, rude guys. So at the time, when I was mad at her and the family, I almost got myself into issues. I met this girl, and then I was like, you know what? No.
No, but that is when these things tend to come.
Yeah.
The devil tempts us.
Yeah. And then she picked wind of it, and I denied everything. Like, no, nothing. And then I decided, so this is the time when I actually need to man up, face the music, and be a responsible guy. Looked for money, went back, did the thing, everyone was happy, therapy on charge.
But before that, what you actually don't know is, so you went, right? witness, and my brother, we used to stay here in Harare. They then sat me down and said, yeah, we know that you're probably angry or something. Because it was also a surprise for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him this to say, no, I actually also didn't know that this guy's changed. But he thought I was lying to him. But I was like done trying to convince him to say, so I ended up saying, if you want this, you're going to do it. If you don't, then it's fine.
Yeah.
So they sat me down and said, yeah, you're probably angry. You're also taken by a surprise. So I'm like, why? Why are you doing it? And they say to me, you're not going to see it now or appreciate it now because right now you're so much in love. There are so many things that you're probably not thinking of or processing. But we did this. We also, in as much as we've seen his commitment over time and whatsoever, we just had to put him to the test again to see if he's going to walk away or if he's going to come back. So for me, years down the line, after we got married, it has helped me because then I know that, oh, no, you're eventually going to do it. Even if because you stood the test of time, then it was a test for you to say, okay, you want our little sister. Here it is. We're going to just make this thing reasonable for you. So are you man enough to stand for what you want and for what you've worked so hard for, or you're just going to walk away? It was very difficult to digest at that time because, you're also now anticipating this big day. Yeah. Well, we never anticipate the marriage because it comes with a lot of things. But the wedding day in itself, you're already envisioning it to say, yeah, so my day is going to be like this. And then this thing is just thrown at you. It wasn't an easy thing for a relationship at the time.
Okay.
And you see, this is what makes this whole ordeal of dating and Roora and getting to marriage very difficult. These are the hurdles that you're going to face. And now, today is probably marking our 14th year together.
Yeah. That's a long time.
And she's only saying this today, now. She's never said it before. Yeah. If I knew this background, I was going to say, okay, I was going to taste her, and then but you are literally in the dark and people are playing their darts and you don't know what's going on and you're being tested. And most young men don't want these tests because, why are we going to a crystal maze when we can just sit down and discuss? We're both adults, we're men. Okay, wangu, 5,000, 2,000, and we seal the deal. Yeah. But apparently, other people want to see how responsible you're going to be, and honestly, I think it's not necessary. Like, that's drama. Yeah. They should just know.
Give you an amount. If they're going to say 50,000, let them say 50,000.
But sometimes it's not about money, actually. Yeah. For me, it's not about money. It's just about that commitment. Because, okay, fine, you now have the money, then what? You'll throw your money and then what?
So you're saying it's character building.
That's how I'd like to take it.
Okay. So my next question, because we have to wind up now, we have to wind up soon, is didn't that overcharging build some sort of resentment between the two families? I've seen in other situations with family members where someone is charged a lot of money, particularly saying, I have a brother who's getting married. The women in the family are the ones who end up feeling very apprehensive about Umakoti and her family. Saying, no, you don't have to do this, there's other women. Did you experience that, or were they very patient? And if you did, how did you, or have you managed to bridge the gap and smooth things over?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a small thing because I remember his mom saying, kuda, like that's so much money. But I also had to ask my family about it to say, what is this about? What are you guys trying to achieve and stuff? Yeah. So it went back to that. Well, I still never understood the reason then, but I didn't have a choice. I just accepted to say, okay, you guys know his background, you know where he's coming from, you've seen him grow, and you know that this is ridiculous. So what exactly are you trying to achieve? Like, no, you'll just thank us later. Actually, I didn't get a reason for it. Yeah. It was just like, no, Tina, we're elders, we can see these things, You will thank us later.
Have you thanked them?
Well, partly because then my brother's wife, the one I used to stay with, will then tell him to say, this girl that you're dating, she loves luxury, like she loves things. So don't you think that was the reason?
No. No.
Like they're preparing you for these things to say, of course I compromise and I understand sometimes to say, no, Karis, we can't do this because we don't have the money or whatever. But basically, I think I'm just a person who loves.
Nice things, soft life.
I love to be yes.
So for me, I think I'm quick to forgive.
Okay.
And it also helps because the resentment that you show your family is the same resentment, maybe with a bit of exaggeration that they then carry also. Yeah. Right? So I was quick to forgive, and they saw that, okay, no, I think the guy is forgiven and all. But so they also take longer. Yeah, the families take longer, of course. But they saw the guy forgave and is actually going ahead with this. Right. So they became supportive. Except that I faced a challenge with my dad. So when I told him I'm going to marry, so he says to me, you want to marry? Yeah, so it's actually my brother's the one. I told my brother, my elder brother. Then he called my dad. He's in South Africa. Called my dad. How to say it? It's a lobola, and they had their discussions. So my dad then called me. So we're talking lobola. Are you ready? I'm like, yeah, 100%. No, you don't know anything about life. That talk. So what I just said to my dad was, yeah, I understand your concerns, but I think where I'm at now, I'm not going back. If you feel like I'm not ready, it's now your job to make sure that I'm ready because I'm not going back. Yeah. Okay, now the conversation starts. Is that girl been okay?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, is she pregnant? What's going on? Why are you so set on doing this? Like, I've set my mind to do it. She's not pregnant. She's perfectly fine. Yeah. I had a hard time to prove that she was okay to my family until after the wedding. And we only had a child like a year plus later. Yeah. And that to me was proof enough to them to say, okay, no, she was okay. Yeah. The guy was just determined. Yeah. So young people will also face challenges from their own families to say they want to marry, and their family is saying, I don't think she's the right girl for you. Yeah. I don't think he's the right guy for you. We are that kind of a thing. Because our families are so into they want a workhorse. Yeah. They don't want a daughter-in-law and those kind of a thing. So I then tried to be very hard with my dad because we have like a close relationship. Yeah. So I had the liberty or had the room to tell him straight up, if you think I'm not ready, well, that's your problem. Yeah. Now you make sure that I'm ready because this thing I'm going to get into is going to have a bearing on you as well. Yeah. If I mess up, it's your son who's messed up. So we took it like that, and he helped me through how marriage is like and so forth.
Okay. Right. Thank you guys for coming. Do you have any closing words? Any pieces of advice?
Right. So young men, if you want to marry, make sure that you are into a friendship that works. If you're into a friendship that has demands that you clearly cannot meet, and there is no room for compromise, it might be a wrong friend to marry. It's important to build each other's characters in the space that you're going to date or that you're going to be in courtship. I know there's a lot of talk, the difference between dating and courtship and so forth. But for a lack of better words, I'll use courtship. To say, while you're courting, you are supposed to be building each other's characters, not exploring each other's wallets to say, is he able to do this for me? Is he able to do that for me? Because the most important thing is you're going to build a friendship into a relationship that will then escalate into a marriage. So when you're now married, your friendship is heavier than the little squabbles that you're going to have in your marriage. And those things will save your marriage. Don't ever feel like and you feel like marriage is an escape route. You're going to go to this guy and have your freedom. There is no freedom in such a marriage. A lot of other people are having problems and they're actually having to divorce or separate because what they ran for is not what they're getting. And the most important part is when you pray, even when you say, Nkulunkulu, ngifuna indoda, ngifuna indoda engumakhosi, ngifuna unkosikazi ongukhosi, which I think is a wrong prayer. Whatever it is you're praying for, be specific in what you want and give God time to do it. Even if you have a lot of money, don't use that money to get you a knife, but rather get yourself a wife over time. You're 24, you're 27, you're 35. It doesn't matter how old you are. Give yourself enough time to learn your person. Be friends enough so that when you marry, you also wear black and white like us.
Kules.
Well, I don't have much to say, but to say it matters to actually communicate your dreams and stuff. When we got married, and before I always tell them to say, yeah, I wish to tell the world, I wish to do this. There are some things that are actually nicer to do when you're together, like two people. Unlike when you're one, of course, you may be able to do those things, but I think there are blessings that come with being married sometimes because you're able to cover a lot of things together. So for me, marriage and courtship and relationships are based on just be true to who you are and to what you want as a person. Don't be afraid to share your aspirations with your partner, your girlfriend, whatever, so that they know that if they are going to get into this thing for the long haul, they know what to expect, other than to just underestimate who you are and then you become this ambitious person inside the marriage. It's like, oh, when did we get there? So just be you, communicate, this is what I want, this is how I wish to live life. If we're going to work towards it, the better. If it's going to fail, at least you'd have communicated. You then don't start saying, no, you're not taking care of me. You know who I am. So communication for me is always key. It may hurt sometimes to be told the things that you're not able to do at that time, but it will help you grow as a person and as a couple.
And honesty also.
Yeah.
And honesty. Be honest about yourself, about the situation, about anything. Because once you exhibit yourself to be what you're not, in our contracts, there's a clause that says not being able to do what you expressly said you can. And that is a misconduct.
Yeah.
In marriage, it's the same. Just be as honest as you can. And your spouse will know this is Kuda, this is what he's capable of doing, right? So she was not going to expect the moon when you can't even give her a plate of sadza. So it helps your spouse build you to become what she wants in a man.
Okay.
But if you're fake, you don't give her room.
She's just going to expect.
Yes, you don't give her room to build you up.
All right.
And also, if she's also fake, she doesn't give me room to then mold her into a woman that I want to be with. Yeah. So honesty plays a very huge role in any courtship or any marriage.
All right. Katonhas, thank you very much for joining us. And to our guests watching us from home, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.